like 30 more seconds before I just go ahead and dive in to the topic today. Let's see if I can share this to my page. Hey Craig, thanks for popping on. Give me 1 sec. I want to see if I can share this. Let me stop the music. I'm about to go ahead and get started here. We'll cut that out. I just wanted to see if I'm able to share the video. One sec. Thank you. I see a few folks popping in. We haven't started yet. I was giving a little bit more time and I want to see if I can share this to my page. Should do a story share. Hey Ardia. 1 second, 30 more seconds, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. See if I can share this on my page. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Can everybody hear me okay? I know sometimes there's a lag. So really quick, I always like to start out by introducing myself. You may or may not know me, but my name is Rochelle. Sorry, I got my rag. My hands sweat a lot. But my name is Rochelle Edrington. I am a mom of two. I am engaged. I am originally from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I have about 10 plus years of marketing and sales experience. So we are doing this live on my business page, V Pro Marketing and Sales. So I started my company back in 2016 because that's when my first child was born. I had started out doing mainly contract work, like, you know, I was 1099, self-employed, and I started my business that way. And in doing so, one of the contracts I was working on, I was brought on as a sales consultant, and this company did really, really well with content marketing and inbound marketing. And ever since then, I fell in love with that methodology. And that's pretty much what I base my business on. Sometime down the line, I'll do a video on this and why I believe small businesses can really benefit from this. It's just a great way to be able to convert sales without really having to be salesy, right? But in that moment, I realized that there was a need for what I do, and what I know, because even though they brought me on as a sales consultant, they said, oh, you know marketing? Can you take a look at what we're doing with our marketing and just help us, you know, revamp some things? And at that moment and how well, you know, the campaigns did, I was like, oh my gosh, I might know a little something. So at that moment, I decided to really start my business. So it wasn't, I think it was like October, November, I should know this, right? That I started this business, and ever since then I've been doing like project-based work. So what I do is I help service-based businesses and nonprofits to improve their online marketing strategy and their sales processes with the overall goal to attract more clients. For the nonprofit side, it's more or less attracting more stakeholders, right? So that's just a little bit about me, a little bit about my company. So before we get started, you know, I'm a very like interactive person. I know with the lives, there's lags and things like that. But if you could just kind of like announce yourself. I did this last week. It worked really well. I kind of like to know who I have on the line so I know how to tailor the message. So if you are on the live and you are a business owner, like you have a business, you know, drop BO and you know where you're you know what state you're in. Let's do the same thing from last week, right? If you're a nonprofit, put NP in what state, and if you're an aspiring business owner, put ABO in what state. Okay, so as you guys start dropping them out, shout you out and welcome you and all the good stuff. But as you're typing in, I'll kind of let you know what to expect today. So today we are going, last week, first of all, let's recap really quick. Last week we talked about online marketing, right? How online marketing can benefit your business. Excuse me, lost my train of thought. And the worksheet for last week was a SWOT analysis. So, you know, we talked about before you really invest your time and money in, you know, online marketing, kind of do some self-analysis in reference to your business and your marketing areas. And so you can figure out where you need to spend your time, right? So, that was last week, all right? So if you did not get the worksheet and you want it and you want to learn more about SWOT analysis, watch the video from last week. I'll probably delete that in the next couple of days. Watch the video from last week. If you want the worksheet, if you're tech savvy, feel free to text GROW, GROW, with WITH, VPRO, V as in Victor, PRO, to 484848. Whenever you text that, you will definitely get you know, notifications when I'm going live. Also, whenever I have free stuff that can help you in your business, you'll have the first access to that. So if you want the SWOT analysis, do that. And also, if you haven't already joined and you want the worksheet from today, you know, make sure you join. But today we're going to be talking about the power of, or the benefits of, knowing your ideal client. Okay, so all right, let's see who we have here. I said I'll take a moment. All right, Ardea, all right, you're a business owner in Pennsylvania, my home state. All right, Julia Sweet, thanks for joining. Adrian Crummel, a lot of folks that I know from back home. Sierra C. All right, Yolanda Haywood, business owner from Pennsylvania. Good job, Dwayne. Thanks for joining. Hey, Miss Luana Rachel. Thank you. Hey. All right, so if you just joined us, all I ask is if you're a business owner, write BO and what state you're from. If you're a nonprofit, NP and what state you are from. And also if you're an aspiring business owner, what state you're from. Just so I can kind of, you know, who's on the line, because, you know, a lot of information, I like to tailor it so it can benefit you. So we're going to get going. One of the reasons why I decided to start doing these lives is the obvious, right? Most of us with this whole pandemic, a lot of people are really starting to rethink how they, you know, do business, or, you know, how they live their life should they start a business, right? And with a lot of what I know, I really want to share some basic things that can really help people improve what they're currently doing. The biggest mistake, I'm sorry if you hear me shuffling, give me one moment. One of the biggest mistakes that I run into with people when it comes to their business, right, is they try to target everyone. Have you ever like talked to someone and say, oh, well, you know, what kind of clientele are you looking for? Or like if somebody say I want referrals, right? Because people stay asking for referrals. You ask, you know, well, who are you trying to target? Like, who's your target market? Like, so I know in my network who I can send your way. And most people would say, oh, everybody. Okay, Rachel, we got you, business owner from Orlando, Florida, and have a nonprofit. And people say everybody. The biggest mistake I see is that people want to target everyone because they have this great idea and they can really see how it can help everyone. But the problem is when you target everyone, you talk to no one. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. When you target everyone, you talk to no one. And what I mean by that is, if you have, let's just say, you have a I'm gonna use myself, right? I do digital marketing, right? I know every business can use it. I believe every business can benefit, but the type of value that I bring is not for everyone. I don't target everyone. Like, I don't physically or actively put my efforts into targeting, let's just say, roofers, right? Or people that have products. Not saying they can't benefit, but I don't target because based on what I know and what I call my sauce, my perfect clients are service-based businesses and nonprofits, right? So when you talk to everyone and you say that, you know, my product or my service is for everyone, how can that person that could be your potential client that hear you say that connect? Right? And we're going to talk more about that towards the end of the presentation. So if you see me looking down, I am looking at my notes. I try to put my glasses on today so you can't really tell. But anyways, but you know, one of the reasons why, okay, so I told you about the biggest mistake. People want to target everyone, right? But what I realize is when you start to target everyone, especially if you're a service-based business, right? Because we trade, you know, it's all about our time. If you try to target everyone, let's see if I can hear more noise. If you try to target everyone, you'll find yourself being overworked and underpaid. And I'm gonna give you an example. All right. Let's just say you have a service that you charge $100 for. For that service, it might typically take you an hour to accomplish. And we all have heard of Discount Danny's. I just made that name up, you know, the other day. Discount Danny's. You know, those folks that, you know, they want your service, but they don't realize they really can't afford it. So they always ask for a discount. And because you target everyone, you don't want that money to go walking out your door, right? You're like, oh, okay, I'll give you the discount. But what you find is if you have any experience with this, most people that want discounts that really can't afford what you do, they'll end up taking up more of your time. You get what I'm saying? So if you discount that service to $50, and Discount Danny is that type of person that just want to pick your brain all the time, always asking for help. Not only did you discount your service, but now it takes you 2 hours, right, to help that person. That means typically if you had your ideal client where you charged $100 for the hour, but you discounted for Discount Danny and he took up 2 hours, you now just got paid $25 because you discounted it at $50 and it took you 2 hours. Does this make sense? So it's so important to know exactly who your ideal client is, because for the people that can't afford it, you know straight off top that that's not my ideal client. I'm not saying that I'm better or whatever, but I know what I'm worth and I know my perfect client, and I need to spend time with those folks, you know? And there's a lot of different things you can do for folks that may not be your ideal client, right? You can refer them, build partnerships of people that service that particular population, right? But you do not have to, devalue or cut down what you do based on that, right? So that is the biggest thing that I see people do when they try to target everyone for their services. And I'm gonna give you an example from my own personal experience. So a few years ago, I used to be in the financial industry heavy, right? I help families with their finances, insurance, investments, and things like that. I had such a big heart. I wanted to help everyone because I'm like, we need this help. Like, oh my gosh, what I know, everybody needs to know this. But hindsight's 2020, right? What I realized is that I had like a ministry heart, right? I wanted to help everyone. But the reality is when you're in business, you can still do good business, but you don't have to, in a sense, discount it or help everyone. There's someone for everyone, and it does not have to be you. And what I realized is I was overworking myself. I was, canvassing. I was like staying up long nights. Me and my fiance would work together. He would like sit at people's table for 5 hours, convincing them why insurance is important. And what I came to realize is we wanted to help a lot of people, but we weren't in the right market. And that is why it's so important to know exactly who your ideal client is so you can spend your time with the people that's going to value your service, value your time, and have the money to pay for the things that you are about to do for them. Can I get a Shanice said amen, right? So that is one of the reasons why it's so important to know exactly who your ideal client is. All right, so we're going to do I'm going to just show you some basic information, some terms that you need to understand, because you might hear me use them interchangeably, right? But I want you to understand what they are. So we're going to talk about quickly target market and target audience. A lot of people use it the same, but there's a slight difference, okay? So a target market is the group of potential customers a business wants to sell its products or services to, okay? So your target market is typically what you're going to utilize to make most of your business decisions. If you want to start a new line, right? If you want to launch a new service, it's your target market that you're going to kind of think about when you're developing those services. Now, your target audience is a small group of people within your target market that you really base all of your key messaging, right, around, so you can be personalized so the people know that you're talking directly to them. So I'm going to give an example. Let's just say you sell, I'm going to use a product-based business. Let's say you sell jewelry, okay? I'm just giving you something, just making it up off the top of my head. Let's say you sell jewelry. You say, oh, my target market are women, right? Your target market can be women, but who are within those? There's a lot of different type of women, right? You can go with age range, you can go with gender, you can go with the type of women that work all the time and may not think about themselves or their visual appearance, right? That's once you start delving into those demographics, that's considered your target audience, okay? So your target audience and ideal client is pretty much the same thing. So you'll hear me say target audience and target ideal client is the same thing. So let's get into what are the benefits of knowing your ideal client. The first thing, like I had already mentioned, is personalizing your messages. The biggest part of marketing is communication. It's being able to explain what you do in a way that your target audience and or your ideal client will understand. So, for instance, if you say, my target audience is African American women, right? And let's throw on mothers, African American mothers, American women who are also mothers. And I'm using that because I'm a mother and I can relate to that, right? So let's just say, once again, with the jewelry, one of the things, if you know the pain points, the goals, the things that a black woman, a mother goes through, you can speak to that. So if it were me, I'd say something like, coming by my jewelry, I know you a lot of times you don't think about yourself because you're busy chasing those little kiddos around the house, but it's so important to take care of yourself and remember that beauty within yourself, coming by my jewelry type thing, right? And this is so cheesy, but my point is when you can talk to someone and they can say, that's me. That's, give me what you have, right? That is the importance of marketing, communicating in a way that your target or your ideal client can understand. So personalizing your messages, that's one benefit. Creating content, they pretty much go hand in hand. When you know who your ideal client is, and you know where they hang out, you know where you should be spending your time, and also know the type of content that they like and even how they like it to look, right? So it kind of benefits the type of content that you can create. The other benefit of knowing your ideal client is one aspect we talked about this last week was email marketing. If you are employing email marketing for your business, when you know your ideal client, you can, as we call in the marketing world, segment, right? You ever get those emails from businesses and they're trying to sell you something that has nothing to do with you, right? Or I'm gonna give an example, I get all these emails of companies that are trying to service. They say, hey, I want to sell you upgrade or something with my Hyundai, with my car, right? I don't even have a Hyundai anymore, right? So when you know exactly who your target audience is, when you are doing your email marketing, you can say, okay, I'm putting out messages specifically for women. This is the group of people that I'm going to send it to. Or I'm putting out this message and it's mainly for people that are in Pennsylvania. It's not going to benefit people that are in DC, Maryland, Virginia, or the surrounding area. So I need to send it to this list, right? When you know your target audience and who you're working with, you can make sure you're getting their messages in front of the right people, all right? So that was another benefit. All right, social advertising. I see a lot of people, they say, oh, I do Facebook ads and I do Instagram ads. But the biggest thing that I notice that people do is when good old Facebook, after you do that good old post, they say, would you like to boost? And people say, yeah, hit, click. But what a lot of people fail to realize is there are so many more targeting options within Facebook that can help make sure that your messages are in front of the right people, okay? For example, if you know the age, the gender, if your target audience has kids, where are they populated, right? What location, even like what they like, you know, let's just say your target audience loves, you know, giving back to charity, or if they love sports or whatever it may be. Do you know that within Facebook's ads manager, right, you can target, use everything about your target audience, put those in, and it will make sure those specific people see your messages. Okay, so that's why it's so important, once again, to know who your ideal client is, but also jotting it down, not just knowing it in your mind, but jotting it down. So because it can help so many different areas in your business, including obviously marketing, right? That's the biggest thing. So it can help with social advertising. And like I told you earlier, the example I gave earlier, the biggest thing in my personal opinion, when you know who you're spending your ideal client, it's going to help you save time, right? We talked about the discount Dannies. You're not going to waste your time with the discount Dannies. And at the end of the day, you'll be able to attract more clients through conversation. And I'm going to leave that one right there because I am actually going to show you, I am so mad because my printer had an attitude today and didn't print out my sheet. You know, last week I showed you the sheet that you would have gotten if you signed up. But I'm not going to be able to show you the sheet from in my hand, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to take my phone down and show you what the sheet looks like. But if you would like to, we're going to, like I said, I'm going to stop right here for a sec. About attracting ideal client through conversation, because I'm going to show you an example of that once I get done showing you the sheet. But bear with me, I'm going to take you off this little, call me crazy, I'm sorry guys, I'm going to take this down because I want to show you what the sheet looks like. So right now we're going to talk about, if you have the sheet, you should have gotten it at 12 o'clock today. If you don't have it and you want it, you can text, okay, it's all one word, okay? You can text GROW with VPRO to 484848. That is GROW WITH VPRO. This is what the sheet looks like. I'm going to turn you around to my computer. All right, hope you can see it. All right, can you see it? All right, so this is the sheet. This is what you would have gotten. And if you want it, just text it, all right? So I'm gonna put you back up here because I don't want to hold it. It's about to look so crazy. Hey, y'all. Everybody okay? I know I'm going kind of fast today. Or at least it feels like it. Everybody okay? Shout out, okay. I'm okay, Ro. All right, because what I'm going to do now is going to talk about a client profile. So, okay, perfect, Rachel. So today, what I want to do really quick is kind of talk about the client profile. The client profile is pretty much going to help you to hone in of identifying your ideal client. So if you're like, okay, Rochelle, I understand you're talking about this ideal client and I need to understand why this is important. Okay, what do I do? And I want to back up really quick because I know that there's a couple nonprofits on here. And I want to talk to you really quick why I believe the ideal client mindset is also important for nonprofits. I've worked with nonprofits for about the last 2 years, and one of my clients helps other organizations or people start their nonprofits. One of the things that I noticed that a lot of people want to start a nonprofit because they have a passion, but they have no idea or understanding the business aspect of a nonprofit, right? So for a for-profit company, right, when we get money, we get it from a client, right, a person or, you know, something like that, right? So we have to understand their, you know, understand the ideal client or why or who it is that we're targeting. For nonprofits, it's slightly different. You, in a sense, have two types of clients. You have your client in reference to the people that are you want to attract for your services or your programs. But most importantly, because what I've been seeing, a lot of nonprofits have some, you know, challenges with or is getting funded, right? So many people are talking to the wrong donors. Like, you're asking for people for money, or people are asking individuals for money who are not their ideal donors. When you really take the time to identify who would be most interested in partnering or supporting your mission, right, you'll spend your time talking to the right people. And also, when you really identify who your ideal donors are, you can start identifying, like, okay, if my ideal donor, I'm gonna just give you an example. If my ideal donor is professional women, right, they tend to care most about my cause, then you need to get into the groups where there's professional women. What are some professional women organizations, right? So when you know who you're talking to, you can start thinking bigger and then putting yourself in scenarios and environments to connect, so you can start asking for money from the people who will be more willing to give you money. Does that make sense? So nonprofits is not very different. It's just slightly different because obviously the model is slightly different. So let's get into the client profile. All right. Obviously, I think that some of you guys might not have it, but you can always watch the video because I'll leave it up. So the very first thing, if you're trying to identify who you should be spending your time with, if you have already had clients, my biggest recommendation is to jot down like 5 or 10 clients who were like the best clients. Like, I call them the sweet spot clients. You know, that the folks that have the money to pay for what you have, you know, they didn't flinch when you told them your rate or what you charge for what you do, right? Those are the people that you probably want to do more business with. I call them the sweet spot. So when you go and jot those individuals down, then you can start identifying what are some commonalities, right? Sorry, I am stuttering here, okay? You start thinking about like the gender, the race, the income, did they all have like a common location, right? Were they most on the East Coast or the West Coast or in my city, what was their occupation? What was the age range? Do you realize that your sweet spot clients are most like younger generation, 25 to 35, or do you realize that you work more with 45 to 55 or whatever it may be? When you come to age, think about like a 10-year age range, right? What was the education level? If you're a business to business, think about what industry are most of your clients in. What is the company size? What is the revenue? How long have they been in business? What is the reason why they started to do business with you, right? Like, what was that trigger event? Like, what are they hiring you to do? These are all the type of things you need to start thinking about when you think about your ideal client, because obviously if you realize like, oh my gosh, I'm realizing that most of my sweet spot clients, they were women, let's say 35 to 45. Location didn't matter, but the commonality was, I'm gonna do business to business, right? Let's just say, they were solopreneurs, and the biggest trigger event is they wanted to grow their business, but they just didn't know how, and that's why they needed my services, right? Whatever it may be, when you really just take the time to jot down your sweet spot clients and just start thinking about what are the commonalities, you will be amazed. Like, oh my gosh, there's about 4 or 5 things that they all have in common. And guess what you do? You create your checklist, okay? So the worksheet I just showed you has a checklist. Then you jot that down. And like I said, I'm going to swing back around how you can attract your ideal client in conversation. So, most people ask you what you do, right? They'll ask you what you do, or you tell them what you do, and they're like, oh, okay, that's cool, and one of the things what you can say in conversation, right, is, I'm gonna use me for an example, and I'm gonna just use a basic ideal client profile. I'm just making something up. I do online marketing, digital marketing, and in conversation you say, hey, who do you know that is a African American woman solopreneur that maybe been in business for about 5+ years and they're looking to grow their business? Who do you know, right? And they're like, oh, well, my friend Jessica, she has such and such business, you know? So that's how you can attract your ideal client, through conversation, because when you know what you want and you stand firm on that, it is going to be so much easier to attract who you want to attract, because you'll be able to communicate it in a way that you know what you're talking about. Does this make sense? And, you know, for anyone that's joining us, I see Miss Trina, welcome. Miss Ronika and Morel, welcome. If you missed anything, feel free to go back. But we already talked about the benefits of your ideal client. The biggest mistake that people make in trying to target everyone, they run into those discount Dannies. So, you know, if you want to know what I'm talking about, feel free to replay it. But the thing is you have to know who your ideal client is, because you're going to save so much money. And when you start standing firm in your space, and this is not even anything that I wrote down, but it's just what I'm noticing. When you stand firm in your space, right, it will make it so much easier. It will make it so much easier for you to build partnerships. And I'm gonna give you an example, and I'm putting myself out there, right? Is I know who my target audience is. Service-based business, nonprofits that been ideally, right, that been in business for at least 5 years, right? That typically they're between 45 and 55. That's my customer profile, okay? But what I realize is I do attract people that do not fit my customer profile. And some people that, even though they don't attract my customer profile, they still can afford what I do. It's not that I'm going to say no, but how about the people that can't afford, or, you know, I cannot invest my time in them? That's why it's important to build partnerships, because there's going to be some things that people come to me saying that they want that I cannot invest my time in, because I know what it takes, and I know that we might not be a good fit for one another. But if I build a partnership with another professional who does something that they're looking for, then I can say, you know what, you and I might not be a perfect fit, right? I'm going to refer you to Jane. I don't know where that name comes from. I'm gonna refer you to Janie over here, okay? She might be able to help you reach the goals that you're trying to, you know, reach. And what I feel like a lot of people are afraid to do is say no. And this is the beautiful part about business. You are the boss. You do not have to help everyone. And I don't recommend to help everyone, right? Stay in your lane, build partnerships, collaborations, so you can refer people, so therefore you can spend the time with the people that is going to help you get to your goals, your business goals. Does this make sense? Thank you, Miss Rochelle. She said this makes a lot of sense. Good. Because sometimes I get going, get excited, start talking fast, and I'm like, hold on, is everything connecting? Is it making sense? So, you know, pretty much what I just did is I went over the client profile sheet. If you did not get it or you want to get it, make sure you text me. You can text GROW with VPRO, GROWWITHVPRO to 484848. Okay, it comes directly to me. And what I'll do is, for anyone that obviously, you know, text it, I'll make sure you get the worksheet no later than tomorrow morning. Please make sure it's all one word, GROW with VPRO. If you text it and some form comes up, it's not me. If you text it and it's asking you if you're a for-profit or non-profit, you're in the right space. If you have issues, feel free to message me. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for you all. Let me see. Does anyone have any questions about anything that I covered? Any questions about your business or anything you want to start? I don't know what time we have. Oh, I'm making pretty good time. Good. Yes, feel free. I'm willing to answer any questions before we hop off. I know there's a lag, so I'm gonna keep running my mouth really quick until I see something. But I do want to let individuals know, for anyone that's just joining us, you know, as I mentioned, I service. What I do is I help service-based businesses and nonprofits improve their online marketing strategy and processes so they can attract more of the clients that they want and stakeholders, right? So if you find that to be yourself, you're needing some assistance, some clarity, and some direction on how you can take all your ideas for your current business and just make it more impactful and connect with your audience, feel free to connect with me. I do have free 15-minute discovery calls, you know, and hopefully we have the opportunity to work together. But, you know, I just wanted to double check to see if anybody had any questions. All right. So the next, so last week we talked about the benefits or online marketing. Excuse me. I should have had my notes in front of me. I did this last week, didn't I, y'all? I know I talked about online marketing last week. What was it? The importance of online marketing. Yes. So the importance of online marketing. Today we discussed the benefits of knowing your ideal client. And next week, May 28th at 2 p.m., we're going to be talking about the purpose of a marketing strategy. Just curious. Welcome, Eric Travery. Just curious, for anyone that is in business or have a nonprofit, do you have a marketing strategy? And just curious. Because I like to tailor my content around the needs, right? Things that you guys care about. Do you have a marketing strategy, yes or no? And if you do or if you don't, you can message me any questions that you have or anything you would like for me to touch on, you know, and I'll make sure that I address it in the live for next week. But next week we are going to talk about that at 2 p.m. So I don't see that anyone has any questions. Was this helpful today? And feel free. I have thick skin. If you expected more and you didn't get what you wanted, please let me know. All right. But yeah, was this helpful? You can say yes, no, whatever it may be. It wasn't helpful, Yolanda? Oh, sorry. Why'd I assume that? No, so Yolanda, you do not have a marketing strategy. Okay. Do me a huge favor, Yolanda. I would love, message me, let me know what industry you're in, and just message me and let me know if there's any questions you have about a marketing strategy. Because what I realized for most people in business, thank you so much, Ronika, I appreciate you. For most people that are in business, right, and any business consultant, I'm not a business consultant, but any consultant that usually works with a business can probably agree with this. Most people in business, it's not that they aren't trying to do the best that they can, because believe me, we all are. But a lot of times we don't do the things that we need to do because we don't know, we don't have the confidence, or we don't have the time, right? So I am giving you my time on these Thursdays to try to help you, you know, answer these questions, right? So be sure to message me, Miss Yolanda. Let me know what questions or anything that might be confusing about the marketing strategy, or you might say, what is the purpose, right? Based on your whatever, just message me, okay? Because I would love to learn what it is that you would like to know so I can incorporate that into next week. I already know what I want to talk about based on my experience or what I see, but I want to be able to help you as well, okay? All right, perfect. Good deal, good deal. All right, ladies and gents, thank you so much for investing your time with me. I'm always excited to connect with people because I'm a people person, and we're stuck in this quarantine, and I don't care what the outside say or what they say. I'm not, you know, opening up my social space to other people until I feel confident. So I pray that all of you guys stay safe. But yeah, I hope today you were inspired to transfer something in your business, in your organization. So until next time, let's continue to grow. You guys have a good week, all right? See ya.